Hi, I will like to show you just one example how to use texture mapping and path deform in order to make quick animations to show maybe some features of your interface. For that, I have prepared these textures. You can also do it with CorelDRAW or another software that you would be using. The first texture will be the material that I will apply to my object. I put all of them into a square because you will see it will give us a reference for that. So this file is in a square and it's a arrow that is showing something. And I need to prepare in the same square just the shape of this arrow or this shape. So I can use it as a transparency map. So those two layers will be used. And this shows the size of my square, because otherwise you wouldn't see it, because it's in a white box. So you can just prepare it using a vector editing software like CorelDRAW, or also in Corel Photo Paint or Photoshop or in Illustrator. You can prepare this. Maybe I can just show at the beginning of the session how to do it if you really want to also experience it together. So I will just open my 3ds Max. I will open my Scene Explorer. And for a reference, I will be using a cylinder. So this will act like a controlling knob of something. So this is just a reference for me to use afterwards. I will need to use a plane to apply my arrow to it. Therefore, I will create just a plane. Because I was using the textures on a square, this should be also a square as well. So I don't need to modify it afterwards. So this is 100 to 100. I need to use quite some segments because this plane should be deformed afterwards. So I will be putting 10 segments to each dimension. So this will be the plane where I will apply my texture. So maybe we first do it. I will open the material editor and I will be using the physical material. I will have two kinds of maps. So first, the map for my color, which is the colorful arrow, and another texture for the transparency, which will be this one that shows the shape in black and all the white areas will be transparent. I will connect the first one as a color, the other one as a transparency map. So also you can see that it was correct. So I can see my material in form of an arrow. So I will apply it to my object. you will see that it does not use the transparency map because we are in the standard shading mode. But if you go to active shades, if you render the scene, the transparency map will be also rendered. I'm thinking that to use the arrow in the other direction, so I will just rotate it. I did not open the angle snap, so I will first open it and then rotate it. To save some resources, I will go to the standard mode again, but I know that my texture is working fine. So I will now need to have the path where this arrow is going to be animated. So I will first draw a helix. Therefore I go to the splines and then to the helix, which will be turning around my knob. So it will be quite this. To add some more paths to this helix, I need to convert it to editable spline. And I will add 2 more splines at the end of the object. Therefore, I go to create line. I select the endpoints for the snapping. And it should just snap to the endpoints. I will put a few vertices. I will click right to end this line. I will select those and then align it. I need to go out of create mode. I select the line and I go to the vertices and I will align them to my helix. So I have just a line attached to this because I need to connect those two ends. So I go to the segments. So they are just engineered, but they are not connected. I need to connect them. while I'm in vertices. So now they are connected. In order to have a more smooth connection, I will adjust their positions. But first I need to go out to edit mode and go to vertices again. So it's always good to also see it from the other viewports, because this was too much. So somewhere like this should actually work at the moment. We will also apply another modifier that will maybe will show a more smoother version of this line. I need to do the same thing in the other direction. So I go to that part and I will create another line which will be at the end of this. Just click too many times, I guess. I click Shift, so I have the vertices aligned to each other while I create those things, and then I will right click to end them. I will select all of them and I will align them to our end of my spline. So they should be somewhere here. They are still not connected, so I will attach them together. Connect them together, because attaching would be connecting them, so they are now connected. I will adjust the curvature a bit. So this would be like the path where my arrow is going to be animated. I guess for this simple path, it's not really necessary, but it would be maybe necessary if you have a more complex path that you need to apply some some more modifiers, because to have a more smoother relation to your path and to your lines, you may use spline relax modifier, which you can find here. So it changes a bit the parts which I modified with my hand, with the hand, with the vertices. You can also select the amount of it and also make some more iterations, but as you see, it will also deform your spline. So I will first use a bit of it, but if I need and if my animation does not do what I want, I can also adjust them later on. I will add edit spline modifier to have applied the relax options to my geometry. So now I need to use my arrow to get the path deformation. Before that, I will just adjust my timeline a bit. I will use a custom frame size for maybe 12, and I will use seconds instead of, so it will take 6 seconds from the beginning of this animation to the end, with 12 frames per second. The next thing will be applying animation to my plane. Therefore, I will be using path deform modifier, which will be under object space modifiers, because there is also a world space modifier, which is called also path deform. But I want that my arrow is on the path, so I will use the object space modifier. So it asks me to have the path. I click none and select this one. This will be my path. It automatically adjusts my geometry, but it's in the wrong direction. So I will select another axis. You can try all of them and find which way your plane fits most best for that. If you have selected it, you can see that it has here percentage feature, so it's now at 0. At 100 it will be at the end of the spline. It was too quick. So you see, you can use it, for example, if you want to say that please turn the knob on, and then you can show it with these arrows. And while you are rendering it, it will be just the arrow that you will be seeing. So it is deformed according to our curve. So it's, I guess, a nice way to show some information about your object. We need to animate it. Before that, maybe we can adjust the position of this arrow. So the percentages, I put it to 0 again. I will turn off the active shade mode. I will just take the spline and modify it according to my shape. I go to the vertices. I select those. I go to segments actually, not the vertices. I select those segments and I turn them. I will reposition them. This needs to be adjusted a bit. So for example, if this would be a radio-like shape, so it would have a face somewhere. It would make more sense to have it somewhere like this. So you need to really adjust your geometry according to your arrows. So we need to also, when I go to here and then look at my percentages, it makes more sense when I align the spline according to that. But you can do it also at the beginning of your animation as well. So I will set it to 0. I will open auto key. I set the first keys and go somewhere here. I will change the percentage of my modifier. And to the end, I will maybe somewhere like this. I control it with my animation. It seems fine. So I deselect auto key. And when I am now in the active shade mode, I will be just seeing my arrow. And if I would render it, it would be something like this. So in that way, you can of course make these arrows something different. And also you can explain several interfaces through this usage. And with some modifications, I guess it will really fit to your object as well. We will also do the same thing together at the course. Thank you.